Welcome to maybe a beginning of a new series called Matches with Meaning. Now, one of my subscribers asked me, hey, can you do some videos on something you like, some matches you like, some matches you don't like? It could be about Impact, it could be about WWE, whatever. Just tell us the things you like or you don't like. So I came up with this idea of Matches with Meaning, where the match isn't always going to be about the meaning of a storyline, but it could be for something else. Maybe it's a meaning for somebody else, or for myself, or someone I know. It could be a meaning for the wrestling industry in general. Matches with meaning. So, my first match. And I know you're going to probably say, well, you're going to probably talk about maybe Austin versus The Rock. Maybe, you could say about Hulk Hogan versus The Rock. You could talk about The Undertaker going against Shawn Michaels. Those type of matches. No. On this first one, I'm going to throw you a curveball. The Brian Pillman 3rd Annual Tribute 2000. And this match was only generally shown on a DVD set for Hard Knocks for Chris Benoit. And it was Todd Pritchard as well as Michael Cole who were narrating the match. They were watching it, and you can see the one image on my shoulder. Now, I'm sure many people are going to say, what, you're using the one that's not supposed to be named? Yes. I'm going to make this very clear before I get to what I felt about the match and what it means. 1. Let's be honest here. We understand what Chris Benoit did. No problem. My first 2 videos on this channel was to try and explain why he did it. Now you can look at my playlist, we can look at the very first videos, and you'll see that I did it with a really crappy camera. And I was nervous beyond stink, and I kept forgetting what I wanted to say. But essentially, I made 2 videos trying to explain it. And let's make it very clear. I'm not justifying what he did. This is separating what the guy did in 2007 compared to all of the content of wrestling that he did before that. We have to admit, the guy was one of the best technical wrestlers that existed. Daniel Bryan even patterned most of his technique after him before he changed it up. So he has a huge body of work that will never be generally seen on WWE ever again. Unless you got the DVD set, you'll never see a match from Chris Benoit. Ever. It's not going to happen. So why did I pick this match? Well, if you've seen the video itself from the set, Todd Pritchard makes it very clear in his own dojo at the time. That was like around 2004 or 5 when this was 2004 when the DVD set was created. They were trying to really show who Chris Benoit was, who he was as a person, as a wrestler, how great of a wrestler he was. And this was added. And he said when this came out in 2000, Chris Benoit could not really honor Brian Pillman the year before. So he came in and he wrestled against William Regal, which he said when he goes to his dojo, he wants people to watch this match because he wants them to see that there is no wasted motion. This is not about trying to play to the crowd or doing any type of storyline or any type of character. This is 2 guys who've actually been trained in technical as well as amateur wrestling going up against each other, seeing who could beat the other. And what does that give in meaning? At the time, in 2004, when he said that, there were wrestlers who were being taught this. They were sitting in front of a television, possibly watching that match that happened 5 to 4 years earlier, trying to learn what it meant to be a professional wrestler, what it meant to not constantly play to the crowd, pump your arms, or trying to make funny faces. You are tasked to wrestle. Yes, it's predetermined. Yes, you got to do storylines, but it does not mean you're not supposed to actually freaking wrestle. So the meaning of this was to relay, if you're going to be a professional wrestler, if you're actually loving wrestling since you've been a little kid, And when you became a teenager, you still loved wrestling. You actually became a wrestler in high school. or you consider becoming a wrestler, this is what you would inspire to. Two guys that's showing how good in the ring they are, not only just straight up wrestling, but legitimately because of their straight up wrestling, they completely won over the crowd by the time it was over. Because if you heard the video, if you've seen it, I don't know if it's on YouTube, but if you've seen the video, if you heard it, it was deafening by the time it was over. They won over the crowd. At first they didn't. The crowd was, who wants to see regular wrestling? I want to see flying. I want to see jumping. I want to see heavy impact. By the end of it, they won them over. And William Regal bled. Chris Benoit gave him a headbutt and it cut him open. He started bleeding. That wasn't fake. That was real blood. It wasn't planned. It wasn't stunted. These guys went out just to plain wrestle. So I felt as this was a meaningful match to teach the next generation at the time. Now, of course, no one's going to generally look at it because this is 2019. The situation with Chris Benoit had happened. People tried to cover and justify what happened, but they can't due to the fact, like I said in my video at the time, that was almost 7 years ago. Oh my gosh. Is it 7 years? 2012, 2017, 19, 7 years ago. It's almost, legitimately, it's almost my 7-year anniversary. Oh my gosh, I gotta do something. Anyway, I generally said that the reason Chris Benoit ended up in this situation, when people are passionate about wrestling, they make mistakes, and he made his mistake, and it cost him. It cost him his life along with his family. Of course, there's a lot more details. You can look at the original videos, but I'm not going there. Other than that, just understand this particular match truly helped to mold the next generation that is now wrestling today. A Seth Rollins could have saw that video. A Daniel Bryan probably certainly saw that video because he stated that he was influenced by Chris Benoit as well. You never know how many people were influenced by Chris. Not saying they're happy what he did, but they did gain something of meaning for their future. So I hope you enjoy this. Well, matches with meaning, or wrestling with meaning. I don't know yet. I think maybe matches with meaning would be better for this series, but I'm still working on it. If this even goes anywhere. I'll make another video soon. Have a good day. I think I'll probably do one and I'll probably release it tomorrow. Have a good... I'm botchy because I'm thinking about so many different matches that I could be talking about and it's hard to pin them all down. Peace!